Hello and welcome to the 6th episode of the Dice for Brains podcast. I'm Ross Rockefeller. This is an actual play podcast told in an episodic structure through the course of a season. For the first season, we'll be telling a story set in the Star Wars universe, using Fantasy Flight Games' Star Wars Force and Destiny. Season 1 of the Dice for Brains podcast is brought to you by D20 GameSpot in St. Augustine, Florida. All music is composed and performed by Jared Pennick at Z-Chord Studios in Gainesville, Florida. One of the things we wanted to do in the first season is we wanted to bring a new player to the table. Susan was gracious enough to join us for this little experiment, and it's been great getting to listen to her embrace tabletop gaming. So if you know anybody that's been interested, but just really hasn't dove in yet, maybe point them to the podcast. Hopefully they'll get a rough idea what the experience would be like to sit down for the first time. Just as a warning, starting now, this show may contain Star Wars spoilers. Now, let's meet the cast and get on with the episode.
My name's David Wright. I'm playing Xen Malek, the Mystic Advisor, who is enthusiastic and reckless.
So, in the last episode, you guys gotten yourselves into trouble. When in Xen's life was he in the most trouble besides now?
I think Xen might be kind of a goody two-shoes. I suppose his enthusiasm probably gets him into trouble sometimes when he was younger, especially.
Yeah, perhaps some sort of physical peril.
Well, actually, I think he makes friends with everybody. And he likes to go along, and he throws himself fully into what he does. So he ends up making friends with people who start rebellions.
Yep.
And
okay.
So I don't have a specific for that, but he has had a background of, although he is the good guy and who's going to follow the rules for the most part, he's always this is pretty much what his life has been like.
Right on.
Joshi Reynolds here. I'll be playing the character Gree Tickus. He's a sentinel, and his emotional strength is his compassion for other people. But interestingly enough, his emotional weakness is his hatred for things such as injustice or any aggressors or people hurting other people. So he tends to get very emotional about that and run away with it. Overreact, let's say.
And aside from now, when was Gree in the most trouble?
Gree's been in a lot of trouble many times in his life because he grew up as a slave, in fact. And one of the most perilous times in his past is when he was almost beaten to death for stealing a speeder. Yeah, that was probably the worst time.
Yeah, that'll do.
Hi, I'm Susan White. I'm playing the character of Bher the Lesser. She's a warrior aggressor. She was raised as a fisher person on her home planet of Bava. She has emotional strengths of justice, and of course that means that her emotional weakness is cruelty.
Excellent. And aside from now, when was Bher in the most trouble?
The time when Bher got in the most trouble was when she cut her schooling one day when she was around 10, and she ran off to go looking in the forest for something, and she knew she wasn't supposed to cut school, but that was the day that she found Jelly, who is her lifelong friend.
Excellent. So
she did get in trouble for that.
So you've had a long history of benefiting from trouble.
Yes, that's part of the problem.
All right. Well, where we last left off.
Yes.
The three of you were in the mining shack barn, huddled around T6, asking some questions, and then needed to get some kind of sleep because you had just finished a pretty harrowing evening.
It was a busy day.
It was.
So I know we kind of glazed over the second half of the conversation. Was there anything important that you guys learned from T6 before you went to bed?
How to solve all of our problems.
Yeah, you do not have enough light side points for that.
Nice try.
I was trying to review on armor and armament, honestly, because now that we've been in a blaster fight, I want to see what we could use, or just familiarize myself with the mechanics of blasters and armor, because I plan to get my hands on some soon.
Excellent.
And also looking into, and in there is a subset, weapons that aren't as loud as blasters or as clumsy.
Man, I have got this great image now of it's clone trooper armor with a brown cloak over it.
Okay.
With a utility belt holding the cloak together.
Yeah.
And the armor is lighter a little bit. I think it focuses more on the breastplate, the leg platings, the gauntlets.
So there's a 3D image of that kind of floating around over the holocron as T6 is explaining the finer points of this type of armor. He also has some files on some other melee-based weapons that you're never really seen before, but there's files on that. And, but it was getting so late, so you guys probably just went to bed on your arm. But you know there's a lot of cool weapon files on there actually that you've yet to explore fully.
Nice.
So you guys are awoken to a light, weird-sounding alarm. Have you ever had like one of those musical cards, but the battery's been dying, so the sound's all weird and warped? It was clearly
a bit slow.
Yeah, it was the only thing that you could find in the barn to produce audio to rig to your security system that is now going off.
Right.
As there's someone been detected outside the shed.
Yeah, I'm thinking more like a 1980s Williams arcade game box.
Yeah.
Like something from Defender.
Right.
Wob, 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 wob. You hit the viewer. We'll see what's going on. You hit the viewer and I'll start passing around.
Well, we all probably bring up our data pads.
Right, yeah, it's rigged all your data pads.
I start passing out the guns.
So on the camera, you can see a lone figure running across this like low rocky field from the main house towards the shed. He's got big, broad shoulders. Hair is probably long, but it's tied up tight and kind of kept on top of his head. He's got like an open shirt, and he is just running full tilt. Very muscular, tall, like 6.5 feet. Big, big, big dude. You recognize him immediately because it's your uncle.
Okay.
There we go. I had a suspicion.
I try to angle a camera to see what he's running. Is he running to or from us?
He's running from the main house, which is a pretty good ways away. There's not much you can see other than that.
And he's not jogging.
No, he's not jogging. You do have a couple alerts on your data pad now that you have it out, though.
I look at it.
Martial law declared on Bava. There's an accompanying article and a video. There's a whole bunch of news headlines like that.
Okay.
There's a funeral today for a fallen stormtrooper.
Right.
His friends called him Dodger, which is ironic.
I put all of that in my to listen to later.
Okay, sure.
Folder.
Just briefly, I want you to describe to me what the barn mine shed looks like right now.
Ah, how convenient. Well, the floor is dirt and the sides are made of wood, and the loft in the back where Jelly is now sleeping in her hidey hole is extremely dirty. It only covers part of the room. The loft is not the whole thing. It's just on the back wall, and Jelly's up there in her hidey hole and
his hidey hole
with the mining equipment that he has found.
Oh yeah, the mining tool that he found last episode.
He's cuddled around it.
It's warm actually, so that's
also
warm. Exactly.
The hole in the middle of the floor,
right?
actually has the metal brace around it,
Right.
And it's got that like blue glow. There are two doors, one in the front, one in the back, but I think the door in the back has like giant stacks of hay.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff blocking it.
Something that a desert barn would have other than hay.
Yeah.
Tumbleweeds.
Right.
Moisture.
Yeah, there's equipment.
Yeah.
Tumble sponge.
There's old broken equipment back there.
There's been
There we
some.
go.
Yeah.
Right.
And then up by the front doors where the controls are, to the left of the front doors where I've been picturing it, where the controls are for the
Perfect.
The hole.
And you guys have like sleeping bags set out. Where's the holocron? There's a couple crates
sleeping.
in here.
I was sleeping up in the loft. We had the holocron out, so I probably think I pick it up and toss it to Gree.
All right.
A messenger bag or something.
I do. Well, I've got some. I've got a large pocket. Are the speeders here?
Yep, speeders are in the barn.
We're in the barn, and we put some sort of. I think I tried to put tarps or something.
Yep, as well
Kind of just hide
as
them
the wooden bava crate with
Right.
empty Bacta canisters.
Yeah, which is still open.
Which is still open, and the Imperial crate that had your stuff in it. So you toss the holocron to Gree, and Ran gets to the door.
Okay.
Guys, it's my uncle. He looks like he's in a hurry. We better let him in.
We leave the sleeping bags out. It's obvious we're here.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So you slide the door open.
Slide the door open.
So it's a beautiful Bava morning, pink sky, birds chirping. Rand has now come to a halt just outside the door and is in a very rigid posture that makes you think this guy knows how to handle himself in a fist fight.
Well, we're aware that he taught Bher.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to poke my head around the door and say, Uncle,
Child, get over here.
is everything all right?
No, everything is not all right. Get inside. Get inside.
Well, okay.
And he closes the door. What are you doing here?
Well, it's kind of like a sleepover party. These are my two friends.
Quicker, the Imperials just got to the house.
Oh,
What
my gosh.
did you do?
I can explain that. We were doing some work for one of the local businessmen.
What did Tanga get you caught up in?
We were stealing Bacta for him.
Well, technically, we still had back to canisters.
I'm sorry, who are you?
I'm Gree.
Hello. Hi, Xen Malek, Alien Direct Debit Membership and Professional Development Stock and Credit Administrator. Former.
Well, we kind of helped one of the local businessmen steal this box out of the Imperial.
Rand crosses the barn gracefully to the box and peers into it.
And he said he needed it, and they took our stuff too, and we had to get our stuff back.
What
And
stuff?
Jelly helped. We found some like computers and stuff like that it looks really interesting. It's historical. We're gonna learn a lot from it.
He very slowly turns around as you kind of ramble through that description. What did you find?
Well, these data pads right here. See, this one's broken, but we can read this one.
When
Looks
you hand
really
it to
cool.
him, his hands are shaking. His knees are starting to wobble.
Sense.
Uncle, what's wrong?
Sense.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, sense. If you wanted to try to like perceive his emotions, that's different.
I
than
was
what
actually
you're
doing them both at the same time is what I was
You don't. Yeah, I think it's one or the other. Because you want to start with this one.
All right. Yes, I spent a dark side point to sense his emotion.
What you sense from Ran is anticipation after it's hit a brick wall. Something he has longed for has just ended.
I think I understand. You mean that something he's wanted to happen is not going to happen?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's shaking, holding the data pad, and he's about to turn it on, but he's hesitating. And then he kicks it on. And he looks through a couple things.
Mm-hmm.
Did you find anything else?
We found some Clone War.
Did you find anything else?
Yeah. There was some armor and a
Clone War learning tool.
a breather
Did
thing.
you find her box?
We found a box.
Give it to me.
Okay.
Okay.
I just look at Grey.
I take it out and hold it out to him. Let's see how he responds to seeing it.
He falls to his knees, collapses.
Uncle, whose box is this? What do you know about this?
Did he faint?
He's
in
out of
shock?
He's out of air. He's in shock, complete shock.
Well, I'm not. Who's the medic amongst us? Oh, it's Bher. Bher's the one
I
that knows
am.
anything medical.
All right, as you don't have a lot of time for this, you're going to have to make like a quick snap him out of it roll. I'm going to assume would be a medical check.
Okay.
This is going to be the mechanical equivalent of like slapping him across the face. Get it together, Uncle.
Yeah.
Right.
In this case, you need to kind of talk people through shock or out of it.
Yeah. Cool.
Right.
Let's give it a roll. Let's see what happens. Slap Uncle out of it.
That's right. Go, Bher.
That was wildly successful. What we're left with is 2 successes and 1 advantage. So 2
good job,
successes. You have got him out of it, you've shaken him, slapped him out of it. He's snapped back too. What's your advantage?
Yeah. So our advantage is that we are safe from the Imperials for the amount of time that it takes for him to explain what's going on.
Got you. Love it. Okay.
The house is just convoluted enough intentionally that it takes time to search it.
Right. Yep. There we go. Okay.
There you go.
So you've got Ran the Greater snapped out of it. He's still on his knees. He still hasn't taken the box out of your hands either. He's still looking at it.
Okay, well, I'm gonna try to help him up if he seems like he's back on his feet. I mean, put my hand out there.
Yeah, you can
make sure
help
he's
him
okay.
to his feet. He's still staring at the box,
Yeah.
and he's not touching it for sure.
Given that I work in alien affairs on an Imperial planet, I am probably well versed in grief. Whoever owned this stuff and left it in the forest was someone he was partial to. And
Yep.
given that we found it, he is imagining at least that they are gone. I'm going to try to use charm
Okay.
to completely fail to offer condolences.
So your difficulty is going to be 2 difficulty and 1 challenge.
Boom.
Go Zen.
And it's a wash. I showed that I cared, and just like nobody else in the galaxy, I have no idea what to say.
In a couple days, he'll appreciate it more than he is right
Exactly.
now.
Uncle,
Yes.
the box turns on whenever all 3 of us are together. Do you want us to turn it on?
I've never seen it on.
It's a clone trooper. T6.
She never told me it was going to be a clone trooper. I assumed it'd be her.
Her? Who do you mean, her?
When you were small, I met some people who fled Coruscant. They came here to hide something. I helped them one night. They stayed here. They left through the mine. She told me I'd be able to find it. She said she could tell.
I try to get Bher's attention visually, and I'm gesturing with my head, like looking at the holo teacher, the holocron. I'm kind of trying to ask Bher if I should turn it on.
Yeah, I think we should turn it on.
So you turn it on?
So we turn it on.
All right, let's do it.
Green light comes out of it, scans starting at the bottom of the floor. As it's going up, it starts tracing Rand too. The light covering Rand goes red. It scans all the way to the top, all the way back down, and does not turn on.
Why won't it work?
You know why the Imperials are here.
Because we broke into the forward operating base to steal back our data pads. And the back to...
Yeah, and Uncle, and I'm
and the
really
empty
sorry, and
canisters.
I think we kind of got in a fight with them on the way out.
Yeah, you killed a stormtrooper. They've
Yeah.
declared martial law on the city. And that captain from the news report has a whole bunch of stormtroopers outside our front door right now.
Where's Mom? We have to get back to the house and get her, and then get out of here.
Leave now. Take the mine if you need to, but you can't stay here. They'll be out here in minutes.
Are you sure that my mom's going to be okay?
No. You killed a stormtrooper. They've declared martial law on the city. They're arresting people. They're sending them off to mining asteroids. No, everything is not all right. Everything got way worse.
Bher, we gotta go.
Oh my gosh, we have to go. We have to take everything with us and go down the mine shaft.
I'm afraid so. I'm afraid that's our plan. If you just stand next to your mother, they're just gonna shoot you both. She'll be safer away from you.
If nobody's standing on the mine shaft, I key the remote to open it.
All right.
Yeah. I'm just making efforts for that. I'm gonna start.
Jelly, come down here. Wake up.
Yeah, so Jelly comes out of the hole, knocks a little mining tool, which is like this cylinder thing. It rolls across the top of the loft because it's not so steady, and flops all the way down to the first floor and smashes on a crate and rolls onto the floor in front of you.
Jelly, what have you been getting into? Come on, we have to go.
This actually shocks Rand too.
Right? So he's just kind of agog at what's going on at this point.
I spent a light side point to sense.
This is the random intersection of 5 major coincidences of this man's life smashing into each other in this shed.
How does the descent down the mine shaft look? Can we walk it, or do we have to climb it? Or
There's handles. You can climb down. It's not far to the mining platform. There you should be able to find a way to the surface or a way out to the jungle.
that's my plan. And I also want to ditch what evidence that we left in here for the most part. The crate specifically. I just want to toss them down the mine shaft.
Yeah, to get rid of as much as you can,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to matter that much. They know it was you guys.
I don't think so either. Also,
I just don't want to give them any evidence that we're here.
we still have the speeders in the thing. They're not going to fit down the mine shaft,
No.
right?
I don't think so. Are they? I don't
No,
think so. No.
they're not traceable really, so they
Oh,
could
okay.
just be speeders.
Yeah, we definitely pick up the mining tool because we're going in.
Somebody-
Well, actually, as the mining tool is rolling across the floor and Rand scoffs and you get that coincidence sense from him. He actually picks up the mining tool and hands it to Bher and turns to leave.
Okay, so I've got the mining tool, and the holocron is with us, but it's off because it didn't work.
Yep.
And get somebody grab the blasters.
Yeah, I was handing those out.
All right, great.
Rand turns to run out of the mining barn shed. And as he's heading up to the house, he kind of yells back, "Also, don't kill Marcus."
Okay.
Who's Marcus?
He's too far away.
What is he talking about? Come on, you guys, we have to go.
You guys are shoving stuff down the mine shaft, getting prepared for your little journey.
Yeah.
So you guys are continuing to climb down the mine.
Yeah.
Climb down.
Once we get
shaft.
everybody in, I'm going to reactivate the force field.
All right, so you guys cross the threshold of the mine and reactivate the force field just as you see on the camera Rand not slowing down and just does one of these like flying Superman punches right into the first one he gets to. And then your signal kind of goes out.
Oh, man, we lost the picture.
It smells down here. Like you're just barely through the threshold and it's a thick air. It's vaguely methane-esque.
Gree, I apologize severely about anything I ever said about your living quarters.
Oh, yes.
Thank you very much.
Oh, my God. What is that smell?
It is dank bava mine. If they could bottle it and sell it, everyone would go broke, because this is one of the worst things you've smelt that hasn't actually been trying to kill you.
Well, I've got my scarf ninja mask. I'm going to try to shove that over my breathing my nose. Anyway, so I'll use that. If there's any leftovers, you guys can have the bandana or something.
So there's handrails down about 15 feet to the bottom of a antechamber, I guess, that's got, what amounts to like a locker room in it for miners and stuff like that. This place has been, not used for years though, so it's all covered in thick rock dust and weird kind of, they're not spider webs, but there's kind of thick webbing that's used to
some cave cricket lives down here.
Yeah,
or something.
used to trap insects and other little things. There's a cutaway into the main shaft right here, which actually runs horizontally. So the main shaft runs horizontally, and it's cut through the bava rock. The surface rock's red. This stuff, when you shine light on it, is red. Oh. This is like brick red in here. So it's got a different kind of color to it. The rock croppings are fairly geometric too. They're very kind of square naturally. Like I don't know if you've seen any of those crystalline buildups that are kind of like that.
And minerals as well.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like that. Every now and then you see some that have like cracks in them and that kind of stuff, and the stench seems to be primarily coming from these weird cracks. And if you get close to one and kind of take a big whiff, you get really lightheaded really fast.
Ooh, this is dangerous.
So I accidentally get too close to one of the cracks, and Jelly kind of looks up at me and burps in a very sickly manner and burrows his way into his jelly sack and just disappears.
Excellent.
He doesn't like it at all.
No.
Well, how's the light source down here? I'm going to start using my data pad and hang it off of my...
None to minimum.
Okay.
So you fumble your way through and you find like a light switch which kind of kicks on the old emergency lighting. So you've got some lighting down the mine shafts, and you're fairly well lit inside.
We've established that I have a flashlight app on my comlink.
Yep.
Turn it on.
But we now have some sort of minimal lighting and some sort of basic power.
Yeah. So there's power in this little room, which is, for the miners, for the old miners.
I checked the old lockers to see if there's any kind of rebreathers or anything like that.
Good
There
idea.
are not rebreathers, but there are some maps.
Oh, that's useful.
You also find some old mining equipment that doesn't look anything like the mining equipment you just found in the shed, but you do see the label Fig Excavation more than once.
So maps, huh?
If there's no table, I lay it out on the floor so we can look
No,
at
there's
it.
a table. Yeah, this is set up to kind of plan the miners' trips and everything like that. The only mine maps you find are outdated, though. So they are from the old Fig Excavation times. You don't find any new maps from the last, 15 years or so.
Okay, so we'll go over the map, and I want to have a look at that mining tool. Maybe use my mechanics skill on it to just try to ascertain how it works, how this thing works, because I'm not quite sure if it's a drill or if it's like or something else.
All right, so Bher's got the mining tool.
Bher, can I have a look at that?
Yeah, sure. Here.
Here, have a look at these maps, guys. See if we can find a way out through this mine.
It's a long, cylindrical metal tool of some kind.
So it has a handle or a couple of handles. Obviously,
It is a handle.
It's a cylinder, dude. It looks like maybe part of something else.
Well, I'm going to try to make sure it's not pointing at any of my friends or any of the
Sure.
maps or anything
All right.
before I start fiddling with it.
Don't aim it at any of those cracks that we're releasing. Is that education to know that that's is that
Sure.
metal?
Sure. So
Methane is explosive.
We're gonna have 2 rolls now. So we're gonna do one, understand the cracks in the rock, and then we're gonna do a mechanics check for the mining tool. The difficulty, that's gonna be a 3.
It's a mysterious substance, isn't it?
It would be, well, Bher's helping.
If we're working together, then I'll be able to use her intelligence.
Oh yeah, and you know what? The difficulty is actually easier for Bher too, because she's from here. So that's gonna work out really well. So you and Bher are examining the cracks and seeing if any of her schooling growing up on Bava is helping out. So that'll be a difficulty 2 now, and I'm assuming you want to use Bher's intelligence, which is a 3.
It's a what? Nope, we got one advantage.
One
Yeah,
advantage.
These 2 cancel, but we have one.
And that's the
advantage.
advantage there on the
All
green.
right. So what's your advantage? You can give Gree a boost on his roll.
All right. So what am I going to be rolling here?
You're going to roll mechanics. Yeah.
Alrighty.
So it's your intelligence, your mechanics. Your difficulty is 3. Bher is helping, so you can use her intelligence. Oh, and you do have that special power where you get to re-roll.
Well, if this roll doesn't turn out very good, I'm going to use my natural tinkerer
Excellent.
to re-roll it if necessary, because I only get to do that once per session. So I think that's 3 successes and a threat.
Excellent. So your 3 successes on your mechanical check tell you the following things. There is an internal power source that is operating. It is warm. This thing really isn't that complicated.
Right.
If you wanted to build it again. And the on button is right there.
Okay. And the threat.
The threat is, one of the 2 ends is bad. But you're not sure which one.
Okay. Well, I'm going to try to make.
There's going to be a giant burst of energy coming from one of 2 ends of this cylinder.
All right then. Well, I'm going to test this. I'm going to test this away from the gang.
All right. So you kind of hold it out to the side.
I'm going to hold it around the corner of the antechamber we're in the room. I'm going to try to aim it just get it around the corner so it doesn't start spinning and blowing everybody up and ripping us to shreds.
Okay.
If we lose anything, it'll probably be my arm.
So you turn the mining tool on.
Yes, I try to get it around the corner and activate it. Or at least through the doorway, so it's not aiming at my friends.
You almost hear it before you see it. So when you turn it on, it makes this sound, and this long green cutting energy beam comes shooting out of it, but stops about 2.5 feet from the cylinder.
Okay.
It's a cutting laser.
So that's what we got here.
Yeah.
I'm going to test it out on the rock a little bit, just see if it chips it.
So you poke it into the rock, it cuts through it like it was butter.
Yikes.
And the other thing that's interesting is there's very minimal feedback. So when you slide your hand and move the cutting tool through the rock, it's really not that different than you were moving it through the air and there wasn't rock there to begin with.
All right, so this is a pretty dangerous tool because it doesn't give me any feedback of cutting things. It's just no resistance or very little resistance.
Yeah, it's exact opposite of using a fishing crane.
Okay, well, just be careful of this end. I point at the end. Careful of this end. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. So let's look at the maps and see if we can get out of here.
It does generate a lot of light too, so that's useful just in case.
Cool. Does it look like it's going to last a while?
That's the thing. You think it doesn't ever. It's got an alternating thing built into it where it's kind of just recycling power over and over again.
Star Wars perpetual energy.
Yeah,
canister.
yeah. So yep. I mean, I'm sure you could probably take it apart and get it to stop working. I mean, you're pretty sure you could put it back together. It really doesn't look that complicated.
But I haven't exploded any methane pockets, so
no.
Then mission accomplished.
Woo! That looks really useful.
Yeah, I kind of like this thing. If only I could make them a little bit smaller. What about the maps, guys?
So do you turn the mining tool off again, or you just
I turn it off.
All right.
I'm not gonna. I kind of want to get loosey goosey and swing it around.
Right.
You know,
It makes a cool noise when you do. Whoom.
Oh, great! Yeah, make some fanboys very jealous here.
All right, so you look at the map.
Pulling their hair out because we don't know what it is.
I contemplate leaving it here. Junk. There's
Oh my god, I want to leave it behind so bad.
But I don't. I'm really interested in these maps. Like, I don't want to be down here this close
Okay.
to the entrance.
All right.
So we start looking at the maps.
All right, so you start looking at the maps. The maps are obviously outdated. They cut through all the different mine shafts, and it's. We already failed in it. Did we fail an education roll? What did we fail?
The
in
education roll was about the methane pockets.
Okay, I need an education roll for the maps. And this can be a big group roll too. So the difficulty is going to be 2, but I am flipping a dark side point to upgrade that to a challenge die. Because I want a despair.
Oh, yes. You want the despair to happen in the dark mine.
I'm flipping another one.
Don't, you jerk. All right,
Change this one to a yellow.
all right, fine. Do it. That's all
Nicely
right. I can still get a
played,
despair.
sir.
It doesn't matter how many yellows. Despair is a despair. If it comes up, it comes up.
Okay, so
You want to know why?
what I did get, however,
Oh God,
Yeah.
here it comes.
was 2 successes, a threat, and a triumph.
All right.
Dun, dun,
So, the threat is one of the lights has just burned out in the primary shaft near you. The successes get you that. What's weird about these maps is these maps aren't. This map doesn't outline what like citizens of Bava have mined out. This map outlines what a natural creature from Bava has mined out.
Oh,
And you guys had a
Marcus.
triumph.
Marcus.
I have an idea for the triumph.
Okay.
There are clues as to where those who passed before went.
Okay,
Where
so
the
you're
critters went, right?
You know what I'm
Your-
saying?
your
Somebody has left a
triumph-
clue for Rand in case Rand found what he was the boss
Oh,
Yep.
and wanted to follow.
your triumph is that there's a hidden message on the map.
Yeah, they left clues as to how they were going
So
to
there's
proceed.
something written on the map that was not there when the map was originally published.
Right. Directions. See, we're hoping it's directions to get out. That's what the triumph was. It's give us a way to go.
So when you're staring at the map, off of the main tunnel, there's several little offshoots, and it looks like one of them kind of dead ends somewhere. And as you're staring at the map and focusing on the map, you see this kind of white light burning, like it's like somebody shining a flashlight from behind it while you're holding it up, and it's this faint outline of a finger that's being traced across this map outline. And you can all kind of see this. It's gripping you. You can't take your way up. You watch it, the entire path it follows. It starts where you're standing and follows this main offshoot all the way off to where this one dead ends, and then just disappears off the map.
That was really spooky.
You saw that?
That
you
was
see that?
so cool.
I guess we have a clue.
Let's sit down a minute.
I don't know if we can rest that long.
And I flip a dark side point. Because you hear a really, really weird high pitch scream coming from down the mine shaft where the light just went out on my threat.
Okay, I want to reference the map and this fingerprint sort of image that we saw. I just want to get a reference to, does it go down there? Does it
Does that direction is going? Yes, absolutely,
And then the screen
100%.
came out at us?
And the screen came
that's
out.
just great.
The floor's starting to rumble now. It
really?
sounds like there's like 100 stormtroopers marching.
Guys,
Marcus?
I don't
So
think we should hang around too much longer. Does anybody know which shaft we should take?
We either walk towards the screaming nightmare or we wait for the screaming nightmare to come to us. What do you guys feel like doing?
I think Bear's pretty good with animals. We should try.
Yeah, maybe Bear should go
Try our
first.
luck.
Yeah, Bear, why don't you go first?
Not
Thanks.
necessarily that she should go first.
Well, I don't know. You're saying she's good with animals.
All right, guys, let's just go.
All right, let's just go together.
And somebody get the map.
So you can see it's completely blacked out down that one part of the tunnel
Right.
now. Whatever lights were in the background have now been blocked by something that is
Whoa,
very
okay.
close as this entire room vibrates.
Marcus,
So this giant white head slams into the tunnel shaft. It's a little big, so it's kind of doesn't fit super great in this one, but it's worming its way down. It looks like a segmented, like, earthworm kind of thing. It's very pale, very smushed together, very formed by the environment it's in. So its body is the size it needs to be for where it is, kind of deal. It's got this predator-esque maw that opens up wide when it screams, and it's got these like bits of flesh that attach these 4 giant teeth. Now you probably immediately went fang, but they're not. They're giant flat teeth.
Like giant molars?
Like giant molars.
Oh my God.
And it's got you can see clear into its throat, and it keeps going back. It's got these 4 giant big black eyes, and it kind of gets stuck a little bit in the entranceway where it is.
Hello, Marcus.
Hey,
I try my darndest to calm him down.
How are we gonna do this?
Yikes! Can I
Yes.
Can I
You actually
talk
bought
to it?
some great force powers for this. So let's start with that.
All right.
So roll one of those force die and tell me what happens. So 2 light side came up, so that's good. You have the choice to tap into the light side of the force, which I'm assuming you would like to do to activate your sense power.
Definitely.
Excellent.
Definitely.
There's something so similar about what you sense emotionally coming off of Marcus right now. And as you're kind of searching for that feeling, you find a harmony feeling that's currently coming from your pocket, as both of these creatures now realize how hungry they are right now.
Jelly?
Oh, I was going to say it's an adult jelly.
Yeah, this is what happens to jellies when they grow up.
Yes.
Right.
They turn into giant
They
tunnel
cocoon
worms.
Oh, thank goodness, they're just hungry.
He's also stuck, and he's a little scared about being stuck. Jelly, not so. But Marcus feels, yeah.
So from our point of view, we just see Bher reaching her hand out, perhaps? Like some sort of gesture?
I'm putting my hand to my forehead,
Okay.
and part of the experience of sort of mind melding with this creature is that my tattoos start to glow slightly.
Oh,
Excellent.
awesome.
So I've got my hand up to my head, and so you guys know that I'm talking to it, and that you shouldn't shoot it immediately.
I get that impression, but
So-
I was going to verify with something verbal.
Right, right. So I'm like, all right, guys, he's not trying to hurt us. He's scared.
Yeah, he's not the only one.
He's trying to like wiggle his mouth over to that cracked rock you guys were looking at, and he keeps nicking it with one of his molars.
Okay, I'm gonna throw in and like, hey boy, hungry boy, can I help you with that, boy? And I'm gonna activate the mining tool and try to carve out some of this stuff that he's after if I can.
Okay, so there's
him.
this.
I'm gonna approach slowly because I'm very worried about him swallowing me.
All right, when you get close, he kind of
You want
claps
some nice
his teeth
rock?
together.
You need some rock?
Clock,
Good.
clock, clock.
All right, and I'm gonna saw off some and kind of like, I don't know how heavy the chunk is. I mean, his mouth is like 6 feet wide or something, right?
Yeah, it's big. It's
Okay.
really big. So you cut around where the crack is, and you give it a big wide berth because you're really not sure what's behind this, and it could explode or something. But so
Yeah.
you cut a big wide chunk off of this cracked rock where this really bad stench is coming off.
Yeah.
And it kind of clumps down and rolls forward just enough for him to get his top molars over it.
Yeah,
and he starts pushing it towards his mouth.
Yeah,
and
I give it a little
gets
kick.
the whole rock in, and gets the whole thing in his mouth, and he's starting to calm down a little bit now, and just crunching through this giant rock.
There you go. Good boy. Good
That
boy.
stench is kind of coming out of it every now and then. It's pretty bad.
And now it's mixed with worm breath. That's fantastic.
This is great.
Yes.
This is just great. But he all right, does Marcus, the giant worm, seem like he's a little bit less stuck? Or is he kind of stuck, or?
Well, he was trying to get at that food. So,
right, so
now
we
that
got-
he's got that, he's trying to get back out. Actually, it's really interesting if you want to sit and watch what he does. So his,
I may not have a choice.
so his molars and everything start kind of folding inside. Mm-hmm. And then the top, as he's wiggling around, the top folds that kind of made up that segment start folding over the end. And after about 30 seconds, it kind of ends in like a little tail. And then it starts going the opposite way down the tunnel.
That is creepy.
Oh, I know what
That
you mean.
is
It's
so
like that
creepy.
toy that you
It's
can
exactly like that toy.
buy and you squeeze it and it...
Yeah, he can't turn
Oh,
around.
it turns inside out.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah,
it
yeah,
rolls
yeah.
around on itself.
Yeah, he has to turn himself
That is
the other
so
way.
weird.
I don't know what I just saw, but I think it was Marcus.
Bye, Marcus.
All right, let's follow
Have fun
Marcus.
storming the planet.
Yeah, I guess we're have
Kind of
That's the way the finger tracing on the map went.
Follow
so.
the finger / Marcus.
Yeah.
All right, so
Careful
the
not to
darkness.
step in any worm droppings.
Yeah, stony stuff.
well, that's all for this week. But come back next week and find out what Bher, Gree, and Xen can discover in the mines beneath the surface of Bava. This is roughly the halfway point for the first season, and we're starting to think about the season 2 production. So if there's a game you'd like to see us play, even if it's just continuing the Star Wars story, you can go over to the website at diceforbrains.com and send us an email. Let us know what you want to hear. And wherever you're listening to us, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. Thanks. We'll see you next week.